We're having a move from Detroit back here to Dallas in 1981, my wife and I and family. We came back to our home in Dallas after we bought it, and my wife was doing a wash, and the drainage system did not work well, and she reminded me what a terrible selection of homes I made. But I did the only smart thing I could. I called the Roto-Rooter guy. He came out to the house, and we were out in the backyard, and we were having a conversation just to get to know each other. And he said he had just moved from Detroit also, about 6 months earlier, to just get a new life. And I said, yeah, I moved a lot in the Marines and service. And he says, well, I was a Marine too. I said, well, were you overseas? And he said, yeah, I was. He spent a tour in Vietnam, and I spent one too. And I said, you remember those calendars people had? They used to have a calendar about do your 13 months and different ways you could mark it off. And he said, yeah. He said, I had one of those. And I said, one of the odd things about us, and I had never told this story to anyone until for some reason, decided to tell him. I said, the satisfaction I could get, the only satisfaction you could get, was if you help somebody else go home at the end of their 13 years, at the end of 13 months of their tour. And I said, let me tell you a story. And he said, okay. And I said, well, in July, we have hot pad duty for 2 days. And I was on the hot pad with 4 other air crews and 4 airplanes loaded with what they called snake and nape, 500-pound bombs and napalm, for emergency missions. So the horn goes off, just like in the movies, and the pilots, I and my wingman, run out to the airplane, jump in, we turn up the engines, get them running, wait for the Rios to come out with the target briefing information. So we're running, they come out, my Rio jumps in, George, and we're cleared right from there all the way to takeoff because it's an emergency mission. And George said, we're going up the Khoisan Mountains just south of Da Nang. There's some people in real trouble there. So we took off, headed north. It wasn't very far. We were there in 5-6 minutes. And as we came in, the airborne fact said, I got 8 guys on the ground, recon Marines. They're surrounded by a whole company of North Vietnamese. They got them pinned down, and that's their way of inviting other guys like us in helicopters to come in, so they have target practice. He said, they're going to drop some smoke, and I want you to go downhill 100 yards from the smoke, and that's where the bad guys are, and so we can maybe get them out of here. So as we came around and got the right roll-in heading and came in on the target, I rolled in on the target, and I didn't have to worry about hitting them because part of the mountain lit up like sparkles on the 4th of July as the NVA just filled the sky in front of me with small arms automatic weapons fire. And we're pretty low, so as we saw that, it was easy to see that's the bad guys. So we dropped our ordnance there. My wingman and I made 3 passes, snake and nape, and we went back to Chu Lai, landed, and went back in the trailer. The minute we got in the trailer, the briefing officer said, well, they got all those 8 guys out, thanks, and they didn't take 1 round of enemy fire from anybody on the ground. And I said, that's great. And as I finished my story, I turned to walk back in the house to get my water problem fixed. And the young man grabbed my arm and he said, was this in January of 1970? And I said, yeah, why? He said, did you have a big blue sword across the fuselage of your airplane? I said, yeah, we were the Crusader Squadron. Why? He said, I could see your head moving in the cockpit. You were so low. And all 8 of us got out. He was one of the 8 guys on the ground 11 years earlier. And like I said, I'd never told that story to anyone.